my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Nichole, and today's video is going to be my labor and delivery horror story. I say horror story because honestly, if I weren't such a strong person, I would probably be really scarred and like messed up from what I experienced on the day I gave birth. If you guys don't know, I did give birth to my baby girl as of March the 20th. She is 3 weeks now, and yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and finally tell the story. I took a really well-deserved maternity break because I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and with being an entrepreneur, you really don't get a break. Like, there's no set maternity leave like when you work a regular, you know, full-time or part-time job. So I just decided to take that time off for myself. I'm back. I feel so good. I feel like myself again, and that time to myself was very important. So I do apologize for the lack of videos, but I am back and better than ever, more inspired than ever. So let's do this. So before I go ahead and get started with today's storytime video, I do want to encourage you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I have so many things in store. I am back. I am better than ever. I have so many ideas and things going through my mind and things that I want to share with you all.
So just a quick little backstory. With my first pregnancy 3 years ago, I ended up having to have an emergency C-section. With having Pitocin, my son's heart rate was dropping drastically, and as well with my water being broken for multiple hours, I then began to develop a fever. I was at the time 9.5 centimeters, and it was really traumatic to me because I wasn't given the opportunity to push at all. I was really forced into having a C-section, and the entire process was just very traumatic to me. Also, my son was so far down in the birth canal that they actually had to reach up and push him out and up through my C-section like area. So it was very traumatic.
So with me finding out that I was pregnant again, obviously the first thought in my mind is I want to have a vaginal birth. I started joining like VBAC groups on Facebook, and I'm just like, I wanted to hear about other people's experiences. I wanted to know, obviously, like, after having a C-section, am I able to have a vaginal birth? That was my goal from the very beginning. When I tell you guys, I bounced on a ball countless nights. I ate spicy foods, I ate pineapples, I did foot massages, I did foot baths, I did everything under the sun to try to get my baby girl to come on her own, and she didn't. She didn't. Honestly, I thought with this being my second pregnancy, she was gonna come like a little earlier. No, it didn't happen at all. So my doctor was like, we're gonna have to just get you on the books and schedule a repeat C-section. We got to choose any date, obviously. My doctor said that they were gonna allow me to go up to 41 weeks. So yeah, we got to schedule the date of my C-section and the day that my daughter was going to be born. And I'm really not into astrology that heavily, but I wanted my daughter to be a Pisces. I was like, if she's gonna come, I want her to be a Pisces. And the next like astrology season that was coming up was Aries, and I'm really not a big fan of Aries. I looked up what the last day of Pisces season was, and I was like, okay, March the 20th. If she doesn't come by March the 20th, it's meant for me to evict her. Like, I gotta get her out. But then, like I said, in the meantime, I was trying everything to like self-induce myself. Nothing was working, so I'm just like, okay, March the 20th it is. Like, it is what it is. And it sucks so badly because I was having such strong contractions, but they were never consistent. Like, they would be heavy, like just going and going for like an hour, and then just completely taper off and stop. And it was very annoying and very frustrating, guys. So if you can see a little hand down there, that is baby girl. That's baby Amaya. If you guys want to see pictures of her, I really don't want the ring light and things like and all these lights to be in her face, so I'm not going to put her up in the camera. But if you guys want to see some pictures of her, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram. And she has her own Instagram. It's at baby Amaya Brooke. I'll have it here on the screen. You guys can follow her on Instagram as well. So like I was trying to say, she just did not want to come out on her own, and like I told you guys, I really wanted her to be a Pisces. I didn't want her to be an Aries, so I was like, okay, March the 20th, here it is. I finally just had to come to terms, like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. If she doesn't come by the 20th, this is how she has to be born. I'm going to have another C-section. My 2 previous appointments prior to my scheduled C-section, like I said, I was not progressing at all. The first, I was completely closed and like high, whatever that really means. And then my second, she was like, I guess we would say you're 1 centimeter. So like I really, like, nothing was working. She was in there, she was snug, she hadn't even like officially dropped yet. She was in it for the long run. Yeah, the day before, a lady gave me a call and she was like, okay, so you're gonna have to be here at 5:30 a.m. I was like, 5:30 a.m.? She told me it was at 7:30. But yeah, I had to get there 2 hours earlier than the actual scheduled C-section time, and I wasn't able to eat 8 hours before surgery. So yeah, I like the night before, I hurried up, I ate my food really quickly, like down to the minute. I was like, I'm stuffing my face, like, so I can hurry up and have something in my system. So then I tried to be really like super prepared and have my things like set aside, like my whole hospital bag and everything set aside weeks ahead of time. That didn't really work out. The night before, I'm up folding her baby clothes and packing her diaper bag, and then I'm up just making sure I had everything in my hospital bag. So the night before, I literally got 40 minutes of sleep, like 40 minutes of sleep before it was time for us to head off to the hospital. I said we were gonna leave my house at 5 a.m. to get there at 5:30. That didn't happen at all. We ended up getting there. No, I'm sorry. We had to be there at 5 a.m. and we ended up getting there at 5:30. We were late getting there, but they weren't tripping about it at all. So yeah, they put me inside the room, I got undressed, and then the lady came in to give me my IV. And because I wasn't able to drink anything or eat anything the night before, my veins were literally non-existent. So she wanted to put the IV in my left hand, like the top of my hand. She was searching my entire arm and she's like, I cannot find anything. But she tried for my left hand, and when I tell you, it hurt so badly. Like, getting IVs hurts, period. But because my veins were so small and it hurt so bad. It felt like she was shoving a shard of glass in my hand. I was like, oh my gosh, this cannot be real life. And then I'm thinking like, okay, all this pain and then the IV's in. No, she was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work, and pulled it out and then went over to my other hand. Finally, after like wiggling the needle around in my right hand, she was able to get it. I really didn't want a needle in my hand because like it messes with my mobility. Like, I'm right-handed, so if I go to like pick my baby up, if I go to do anything with my right hand, I'm gonna feel like the little, I don't know, is it like a, I don't know, that little thing, like the little tube that they put in your hand, you feel it and it's really uncomfortable. Just sitting there waiting, like just anxiously, like, wow, all right, here goes nothing, here goes nothing. So the time rolls around, it's like 6:40-ish. I'm supposed to have my C-section at 7 a.m. or 7:30, 7 a.m., 7:30, something like that. But the time is rolling around, and then they're like, oh, hey, yeah, we just wanted to come in and let you know we didn't forget about you, but we had an emergency C-section. It was an emergency C-section for twins, so it's gonna be a little bit delayed. We're looking at maybe like 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8:30. Okay, so here I am. I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I'll get some sleep now, because yeah, that's just that. Obviously, I wasn't like upset about the time being pushed back because they had an emergency C-section. I was just like, yeah, you guys, you know, you could have told me. I'm just sitting here for hours on end just waiting. But yeah, that happened. So then 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, they finally come back in the room and they're like, okay, so yeah, we're finally complete. So we'll be getting started soon. And I'm just like, okay, like still waiting. And at this point, all my family, because I told them like the C-section was scheduled for 7 o'clock, and all my family's like texting me like, is she here yet? Is she here yet? And I'm like, no. So now that's making me like a little anxious. So finally, about like 10 o'clock-ish, they told me that I can go back. And it was really weird this time because the last time I already had my epidural, so they wheeled me into the room, like into the operating room. This time I had to walk into the operating room, and I just had this fear. Don't judge me, and also don't like take anything from this, but this is just my fear. I'm terrified of surgery. So the entire time that leading up to the C-section, during the C-section, I'm just praying like, please, God, please be with me, because I don't want to die. Like, I really don't want to die. So I went inside of the operating room and sat on top of the table, and they're like, okay, we're gonna be doing a spinal tap now. So I had the epidural last time. I pretty much knew like what to expect. So I get on the table, I get into the position, like the hunched over position, and she's back there and she's numbing and numbing and numbing. And by the way, the little pinch of the numbing needle, that hurts. It really does hurt. It's like almost like being stung by a bee, and it's like hot, and it like, I don't know. It feels like getting a needle. It hurts, okay? So she's numbing, and then I feel her doing the spinal tap, and she's like talking herself through it. So I'm like hearing her talk herself through it. So I'm like trying not to get in my head at this point. I feel like the anesthesiologist, like now, like the needle's in, but I feel her like moving it around. So at this point it's like uncomfortable, and I'm telling her like, yeah, that hurts, like, ow, like, ouch, that really hurts. And then she like moves it one wrong way, and all of a sudden, like, the absolute worst shooting pain goes through my left leg. I wanted to scream. It hurt so bad, but at that point I wasn't able to scream because I was afraid I was about to be paralyzed. Like, I knew if I moved or if I did anything, I'm like, I'm going to be paralyzed. Like, this is terrifying. So I'm sitting there at this point. I'm not freaking out though. I'm just like, okay, that's my left leg, like, ow, my leg. Like, I wanted her to know, like, whatever you just did, like, it hurt my leg. So now I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be paralyzed on my left side. Like, this lady has no idea what she's doing. At that point I lost all trust in her. So then she's back there and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get it. And she's like talking to the other nurse like, I can't get it, but I'm feeling everything that she's doing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So now she's stabbing me even more to numb me again, so I can't feel it, but I'm feeling everything. And she's like moving it around again. Boom, my left leg again, like my entire left leg. Like, it's almost like it went completely numb for a second, but it hurt really badly. So I'm like, ow. Like, at this point I'm getting annoyed, because I'm like, okay, whatever you just did, like, you did it again, and it hurts so badly. And I'm trying to explain this to her, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, and like she's annoyed now. So I'm just like, okay. So she continues on for the third time. Once again, my left leg, this time it hurt so badly, to the point where it brought me to tears, because I'm like, oh my god, like, this lady is about to paralyze me. Like, I don't think she understands the importance. Like, she's playing around in my spine, moving a needle around. She's like, I need a bigger needle. Like, she's telling them like, I need a bigger needle, like, grab me a bigger needle. I'm just like, a bigger one? Like, girl, you're already destroying my spine right now. Like, continuing to just jab me like, oh, I'm sorry, you can feel that, and just like numbing me over and over again. Like I said, these, like, the numbing, it stings really badly, like, it hurts. So I'm like, ow. Like, I'm telling her like, my spine is now hurting, like, it's hurting very, very bad. My left leg, from like whatever the hell she did in that shock or whatever I felt, that's now hurting. I'm uncomfortable, like, I'm pregnant as hell. I'm 40 weeks pregnant, and I'm trying to bend over in this weird position that they want me to bend over in. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Now note, my first time around when I went into labor, I didn't do my makeup. I didn't do any of that, like, you know, the internet stuff that people usually do. Well, this pregnancy, I'm like, well, I'm having a C-section. Like, I don't have to do any hard work. I don't have to push. I don't even have to lay in the bed for long. Like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do my makeup, it's gonna be great. Yeah. So now I'm in the operating room. I'm profusely sweating, like, because I'm so freaked out, I'm sweating. My face was so oily. I will insert a picture here. This is me during my C-section, like, just sweated out. At this point now, because I'm freaking out, like I said, I'm sweating, I'm like overheating, I'm now starting to hyperventilate. I'm crying at this point, because I'm just like, oh my god, like, why did I get the lady that doesn't know what the hell she's doing? I'm just like, at this point, like, no, I just wanted to turn around. I just wanted to go home. Now my experience is bad, just like the last time around, except for, like, I came to terms. I knew what I was going to be, like, what I was going to be experiencing, what I was going to be going through. But like, the fact that she couldn't get it right, and she's just, I need a bigger needle. I'm just like, what the hell? Like, you can't do it with a little needle, so what are you going to do with a big needle? Like, I was so frustrated. But like I said, I'm now hyperventilating. Like, I'm crying hysterically. The nurse was the nicest lady ever. Like, I cried my eyelashes off. That's how hard I was crying. So then she's like, oh, I need to get someone else. Finally, I guess she gets frustrated and she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I need someone else to do this. So she calls in like the senior anesthesiologist or whatever. I could not stop hyperventilating. I'm just like, like I could not breathe. Oh my gosh, it was freaking me out. So finally he comes and he's like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this. And he seemed really nice. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, finally somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Like, here we go. So he goes and he's being super rough. He's like, okay, no, I need you to bend your back over more. And he's like bending me over, but he doesn't understand that my spine is now in pain. Like, it hurts badly. It hurts to the touch. It just hurts. So he's back there and he's like pressing on my spine super hard. Like, no, I just gotta find the spot. I gotta find the spot. And I'm like, sir, like, ow, like, you're hurting me. And he's like, I'm sorry, it's gonna be over soon, it's gonna be over soon. When I tell you, I thought I was crying bad when the last lady was doing it. Oh my goodness, it's to the point now where I cannot breathe. I'm crying so hard. I don't know how I completely forgot this part, but let's back all the way up. Before the procedure, before everything, while I'm in the room waiting to have my C-section, I'm having contractions, okay? Bad contractions. I'm literally looking at the chart and I'm like, what the hell? Like, baby, you would wait until now when I'm here in the hospital to want to come out the right way. Like, when I'm hours away from being cut open, now you want to come out the right. And like, the contractions were bad. Like, I'm seeing them like jump. They're super consistent and I'm like, what the heck? So when the doctor had come in before the C-section, she's like, oh my gosh, you're having contractions. And I'm like, yeah, isn't that crazy? Because, you know, I wanted a vaginal birth. And she's like, well, do you want me to check you? And I'm just like, being checked for dilation hurts so badly. So badly. It feels like they're sticking like this whole thing up there to see how dilated you are. Oh my gosh. So I'm like, do I want to really go through this again? I'm just like, nope, don't check me for dilation. Like, it's fine. I'm already here. We already know. I don't, no. No. So I opted for a C-section, truthfully, because I could have gone and like seen how dilated I was, and so I don't know, I really didn't have it in me. I'm like, no, she has to come today. Like, I can't wait any longer. She has to be a Pisces. Like, that's all that's in my head. I waited till the last minute, met my deadline, let's do this. So now, flash back forward to me being inside there. The second anesthesiologist, he finally is able to get it after probably bruising my back up even more than it already was bruised. By the way, after I had surgery, I'm telling you, I had scabs all over my back from being poked and stabbed so many times. Literally, my back felt like a braille board. Like, I was reading braille. Like, it's so bad. It was absolutely terrible. So now, they're like, okay, we got it. Like, I don't know what he did. He finally was able to get it after he bruised me up. And then they're like, okay, so you can go ahead and lay down, sweetie. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then they start putting everything up, like the drape and all that other good stuff, and they start doing their thing. So my doctor comes into the room and she's like, okay, so, you know, we're gonna be doing this. And she like talks again. She was actually the same doctor that delivered my son, the same doctor that I cursed out the first time. Yeah, I got her again. So yeah, that's that. Now we're at the point where they're about to cut me open and she is like feeling around. She's like, okay, Nadine, can you feel this? And can you feel this? And can you feel this? And I'm like, yeah, touch that spot again. Yeah, because I can feel that. It was like my lower left, like, I don't know if that was my stomach she was poking, like what it was. But she's like, can you feel this? And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. You're poking me with something sharp. And she's like, uh-oh, you're not supposed to feel that. So I'm like, okay, well, I feel it. She's like, okay, how about now? Like, can you feel that? And like, she's like poking around in that area. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. Can you like stop poking me? And she's like, oh no, you're not supposed to feel that. And I'm like, okay. So now I'm freaking out even more. Like, y'all want me to cry even more? So then she's like, okay, well, this is not good. So she's continues to poke around, and she's like, listen, I just want to tell you, like, we went through a lot trying to give you the spinal tap. If we're not able to get you numb in this area, or like if it, it doesn't affect this area, we're gonna have to put you to sleep. And I'm like, what? Like, I just sat here and went through all of this. You guys stabbed me in my back. When I tell you that, like, the spinal tap portion probably took about 45 minutes. Like, it took a very long time of them just consistently stabbing me in my back, hitting my leg, bruising my spine. All of that took so long, and I'm just like, you all just could have put something in my IV and put me to sleep the entire time. Flashback to my first C-section when they were telling me, like, okay, we have to do this. I'm like, okay, can you guys just put me to sleep? Like, please put me to sleep. And they were like, no, we can't put you to sleep, because if we put you to sleep, then it'll put the baby to sleep. The baby will be extremely drowsy, blah, 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 blah. Flash forward to my second C-section, they're like, yeah, so with this, if the spinal tap isn't successful, then we're gonna have to put you to sleep. And I'm just like, what the? So y'all made it seem like it wasn't possible to put me to sleep the first time when I was begging you, and now that I don't want to be put to sleep, they're like, yeah, so we're gonna have to put you to sleep if it doesn't work. So they ended up, like, I don't know, like putting the table on like an incline, so like my head was like down more. I don't know what that really did, but I guess the spinal tap thing, fluid or whatever, it like flowed to that area finally. So then she's like, okay, how about now? Can you feel it? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I can't feel it. Because I was freaked out. I'm just like, I don't want to lie to them and tell them that I can't feel it when I really can, because I'm going to feel myself be sliced open, But finally, I wasn't able to feel that area. So they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead. So the entire time, like my first C-section, the anesthesiologist was so cool. Like, he was talking to me the whole time, like, yeah, so tell me about your life and like blah blah blah. It just made the time pass by so much faster. This time around, I get the dumbest girl in the world, the same one who couldn't get my spinal tap the first time. So I'm like, hey, like, can you talk to me? It makes time go by faster. So she's like, oh, okay, like, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, okay, first off. And then she's like, yeah, it's about the weather or something like that. And that's all she said. It's like, I'm like starting to try to engage in conversation with her, and she just walked away. And I'm like, oh, okay. So at this point, my boyfriend still wasn't in the room, because like, I guess I have to be like opened up in order for them to allow him in the room. So he still wasn't in the room. I'm just looking around, and I'm like, okay, Nadine, pick a spot on the wall. Where are you gonna look? But I was like afraid to stare off too hard, because I had this fear that I was gonna die. So I was just like, okay. So I'm staring off, and I'm like, all right, well, let me just let my eyes be active. Why did I look up at the ceiling? On the ceiling is like this big, like, silver reflective light. Like, it's like mirrored almost. And I look, and I could see my freaking guts, like the reflection of blood and guts. I'm like, oh my God, don't look near there, Nadine, don't look there. And now I'm like, Nadine, don't faint. Like, do not faint. You cannot afford to faint right now. So as I'm sitting there focusing on not fainting the entire time, and also trying not to die at the same time, finally they allow my boyfriend to come in the room, and he was like, oh my gosh, what took so long? And I'm like, okay, so it wasn't just me, because obviously I don't have my phone. I can't tell the time, nothing of that sort. So he was like, what took so long? And I'm like, it's the longest story ever. Thankfully, this time around, I did not feel super drugged and like super out of it like I did last time, because like I said, it really took away from the experience. Like, I felt like I wasn't all the way there, but they probably drugged me up so much because I was just like bugging out, crying, and like telling them they were trying to kill me and stuff like that. So they were probably like, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and sedate her so we can make this a smooth process. So that's probably why I got to be like so alert and stuff this time around. I can feel them. They're like, okay, lots of pressure, aka we are about to put all of our weight on your stomach, and we are going to massage this baby out, and we're gonna knead it like we're kneading dough, just and that's what I felt the entire time. I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm like holding my breath, like, because that's what I'm feeling the entire time. They tell you like during the C-section you don't feel anything. No, you feel anything. And then they tell you you're gonna feel pressure. Yeah, I'm feeling your hands banging down on my stomach to massage the baby out. Like, what the heck? Then finally they pulled baby girl out. I heard her cry and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, dang, I did this. Like, it was crazy. My entire pregnancy, I couldn't believe that I was pregnant. If you guys didn't see my like live reaction, my reaction to finding out I was pregnant, I'll have it linked up here in the eye so you guys can go ahead and watch that. It's really raw, it was really dramatic, but it was real life. My boyfriend got to go over and see her and take pictures of her and things of that sort. They weighed her. She was 7 pounds 15 ounces. My baby was almost 8 pounds. And then they took her off to the nursery and then my boyfriend went with them, and then it's just me all over again. So the entire time nobody's talking to me, and I really did not like that at all. I'm just like, I felt like a guinea pig almost, like they were dissecting a frog and you don't talk to the frog. Like, I didn't like that at all. It was not personable at all. They're all in there just talking about their own lives and like, yeah, so about the quarantine and like talking about everything that's going on right now and like, oh yeah, so I have to go grocery shop. It was just like almost like being inside of like their break room or something, and I'm just like, hello, like, you know, I am down here, like, you know, little old me. So I couldn't fall asleep though. I guess like my adrenaline was going because I just couldn't wait to see my baby again. So yeah, I felt them like using like I guess a staple gun like to staple me up. I felt that. So then the horror, like the absolute, like the worst, like the cherry on top of this bad experience. When I tell you, I couldn't tell if I was looking at a doctor or a person that worked in a butcher shop, because this lady is covered in blood. Covered in blood. Blood all over her gloves, blood all over her. She's like, hey, so I just wanted to let you know I did have to make your C-section scar just a little bit bigger. She's like, I was trying to aim on the smaller side like the last time, but because of the way the baby was positioned and like the baby is and like how your body is, I did not know what to do, where to look. I'm just like, I'm gonna pass out. Like, why would you traumatize me like that? Like, if I wasn't the strong person that I am, if I was really weak, if I had a weak stomach, anything, like, why would you do that? Like, I could not get over what I was seeing. I looked away so fast and I'm just like, why the hell would you do that? Like, this is my blood that's all over you, all over your gloves, all over your, I don't know, your hospital gear. I'm just like, what the hell? So that happened. All I can hear was like blah, 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 because I'm feeling myself like getting dizzy. I'm feeling queasy. So then they take down like all the stuff and they're like getting ready to put me on the other table, like off the operating table onto like my bed. And I look over to the right and there's literally like a metal pan with like rags in it with my blood all over it. Like everywhere I looked around, there's my blood. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I'm not supposed to be seeing this right now. I did not see this. I did not experience this with my first C-section. I don't know what the hell was happening in that hospital, but it was not okay. Like, I was not mentally okay after that. After they finally got me on my bed, they rolled me into my same room for recovery. And then I sat there for a while. I don't really know how I was really recovering. It was just me and a nurse just staring at me. I'm just staring at her like, hey, what you doing over there? And I ended up like, the nurses were the sweetest. Like, oh my gosh, I loved the nurses there. Overall, though my like surgery was absolutely terrifying, it was horrifying. I'll probably have nightmares. I haven't had one yet because I don't get much sleep with a newborn, but I will probably have nightmares about this experience because it was truly traumatizing. Seeing my surgeon, my OB, standing there with my blood all over her, looking over and seeing rags with my blood all over it, being stabbed in the back at least like 70 times. I'm not even being dramatic. I swear I'm not. My back was filled with just little scabs all up and down it from the spinal tap. It was absolutely terrible. Like, that was such a horrifying experience. Like, me hyperventilating, me crying. It was so bad. And like I said, by the time I got on the operating table for like pictures, because I wanted to have my makeup done, I wanted to take cute pictures when my baby came out, I was a hot, sweaty mess. Yeah, that was my labor and delivery horror story with baby number 2. Let me just say, my daughter is the absolute biggest blessing in the world. I still can't believe she's here. Like, entire pregnancy, I couldn't believe I was pregnant. Then I couldn't believe that I was having a girl, and now she's here and she's so perfect, like such a good baby. Oh my gosh, I'm just absolutely so in love with her. So this entire experience was so worth it. I still want to have more kids. Like, I'm traumatized, but I'm not at the same time. I'm just like, yeah. But I should have just stuck to my gut, because I said, but let me just say, I chose the absolute perfect day to have my baby, because my C-section was scheduled on a Friday, the 20th. On that Monday, I was like seeing things on the news about obviously everything that's going on right now. And they were saying like a lot of hospitals were limiting the amount of visitors and things of that sort. So when I checked on Monday, they were like, yeah, only 2 visitors, like no one else is allowed to be in the waiting room, blah blah blah. But I'm like, oh great, like at least my mom will still get to be here, my boyfriend. It's perfect, like it's gonna work out. But then by Wednesday, when I checked again, they were like, yeah, one person only. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it sucks so badly for my mom not to be able to come to the hospital and visit and see her baby. Like, we had to FaceTime every single person in our family. Only her grandmothers have met her so far. Like, the rest of my family has not met her. It really sucks. It really sucks. But at the same time, I have a newborn and I cannot afford to compromise her immune system at all. Like, this is not a joke, this is not a game, like this is really real. So I'm glad, like I don't have to, like I literally didn't have to tell anybody like, yeah, no, you can't come here. Like, everybody had an understanding, which I'm really grateful for. I was gonna be quarantined in the house no matter what, so it doesn't really bother me, the whole quarantine thing, except for the fact that like I would like to go out and get fresh air and things of that sort. But I'm terrified. I cried the night before her like checkup appointment. I extended it because it was supposed to be like 2 days after our hospital visit, but I made it a week after our hospital visit, because I'm like, I'm not bringing a 2-day-old baby out. And her doctor's office was saying that like they take sick patients in the afternoon and well patients in the morning, and I'm like, no, like that's not okay. Like, how do I know everything's sanitized? How do I know? Like, I was up worried to death. Like, my anxiety got the best of me the night before her appointment. But overall, everything has been perfect. That experience was absolutely terrible, but I'm just so glad. The doctor actually let me go home a day earlier. I was supposed to go home on Monday morning, but my doctor came in, he was like, you look great. Like, after my surgery, they had me up 3 hours after my surgery. I was up walking around. Like, they were like, yeah, so we implement a new thing where we get you up way sooner. So 3 hours after, I'm up walking. I'm like, I feel good. Like, this is great. Like, wow, I can't believe I just got sliced open. Didn't feel a thing like afterwards. It was really great. Day 2, that's when it hit me. I was like, whoa, like, yeah, I just had major surgery yesterday. But I've been up walking around since day 1. Like, it's great. I've healed great. Yeah, I mean, obviously I still have like aches and pains. It's 3 weeks later. After week 2, I stopped taking medicine consistently. 3 weeks later now, I like am feeling like sharp pains here and there, but it's nothing like unbearable. It's mainly at night, so I just have to take medicine at night. Other than that, I am breastfeeding, so she did latch absolutely perfectly. I did have a little bit of trouble trying to get her to latch at first. It was like a couple hours after she was born, and they were asking like, oh, has she eaten yet? And I'm like, no. I was trying to get her to latch and she just was not like there. She wasn't paying attention. I guess she wasn't hungry enough. But finally, like when it was getting down to the point where I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna make me give her formula, she finally was like, oh, okay. And then she latched perfectly. And then yeah, it gave me a little scare because I am like exclusive breastfeeding. Like, I only exclusively breastfeed. But yeah, that was my entire labor and delivery story. I'm trying to think. I still like, I don't have pregnancy brain anymore. I can't blame it on pregnancy brain, but I'm still like dumb up here a little bit. And maybe it's lack of sleep, maybe it's mom brain, I don't know. But I can't wait until my brain cells come back full-fledged. So I really hope that I didn't miss anything. or I didn't leave anything out. But yeah, that was my labor and delivery story. So if you guys made it to this point, let's have the secret message be have another baby. Comment that down below if you made it to this point in the video. If you did, I love you guys immensely. I love you so much. Thank you guys so much for 80,000 subscribers, and the road to 100K is coming your way. I do have super big plans for this channel, so you guys definitely want to make sure, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to turn on the post notification. Also, go ahead and like this video if this was entertaining at all to you. Like I said, I really hope that this didn't scare anyone. It wasn't in any way to scare anyone, to traumatize anyone, to bring back flashbacks, any of that. I gave my trigger warning in the beginning, but I really hope that nothing sticks with you, that you don't have any nightmares or anything of that sort. Maybe the story wasn't even that bad, but I just want to say that. I love you guys so very much. And like I said, if you guys want to see baby girl, who is right here, if you guys want to see what she looks like, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and follow her on Instagram as well. Both will be linked down below in the description, and I will see you guys in my next video.